that Accion Opportunity Fund so excited to have our friends from Colibri Digital Marketing joining us today. Thank you, Andreina, for being with us to walk us through some of these really important discussion topics around small business digital marketing. It's such a critical topic. It's so important for businesses today to understand how to really use technology to get the word out about their business. So I'm excited to hand things over to you so you can do just that.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure actually to be here. Thank you everybody for joining. I'm excited to start talking about this. It's a very important subject and we have a lot to go through today. So before we start, I'm just going to give you a little intro to where I come from and who I work for, which is the reason why I'm here, and that's Colibri Digital Marketing. So if we move on to the next slide, I can give you just like a little bit of information about us. So it's a San Francisco-based B Corp certified business, and it's actually the only B Corp certified digital marketing agency in San Francisco. It's women-owned, and a lot of top leadership comes from women. And we're also LGBTQE certified, and our focus is basically just giving sustainable digital marketing strategies and practices to our clients in the Bay Area and beyond, and also focusing on ethical marketing and everything like that. And plus, we also care about, besides doing different things like websites, branding, social media, all of it, we also like to train our clients as well. So if they want to empower themselves to learn about digital marketing and actually do it on their own, we also prepare trainings for them and we help them and guide them through the process. So if you want to learn more about us, we have like all our details at the end of this presentation, so you can get that at the bottom. And with further ado, I'm just going to introduce myself and my partner, Rose Carges, who's here with me. So if we move on to the next slide, you can see a little bit of information about us. And basically, I'm actually coming to you from Caracas, Venezuela. I was born and raised here, and I got my master's degrees in mass communication here as well. And I've been working with Colibri for almost 2 years. And I have over 3 years of experience related to digital marketing and also communications focused around sustainability. And then I'm gonna let Rose introduce herself.
Hi everyone, I'm Rose. I'm the content marketing manager at Colibri, and I've been here for a year and a half or so. I mainly work on SEO and content marketing, things like that. And I'm based in San Francisco.
Excellent. Thank you, Rose. So now we're just going to get into the good stuff, which is digital marketing. So our first question, like, what is digital marketing and what makes it different from traditional marketing? So if we move to our next slide again, thank you. Digital marketing is a really broad term, but it basically means everything, any kind of strategy or any kind of way of promotion that you use via electronics or online or via the internet. So it can be via TV or through mobile phones or even through your computer. So it's basically focused around the virtual world versus the traditional marketing is more focused on things that maybe you can find them on a magazine or you can find a billboard or anything like that. So that's basically the big difference. And another big difference and a really good thing that kind of gives digital marketing that extra push is the fact that it helps marketers get more control of tools and also analyze the effectiveness of their campaigns and of the things they're doing, because they can easily track how many people see it, how many people clicked on a link, how many people are engaging with the content that you're creating. So it gives you a really broad aspect of what's going on and also of the audience that is receiving that. So these are a couple of quotes that we think are really helpful and that we feel like align with what we think Colibri digital marketing is and what marketing is. So basically, the best marketing doesn't feel like marketing. I'm sure that resonates with many of you because usually the best is the one that comes so naturally that you feel like that person is speaking to you and it doesn't feel like they're trying to sell it. So it's kind of putting yourself in that same base of talking to a friend or making it really personal and close to the person that you're trying to market to. And then marketing is no longer about the stuff that you make, but about the stories that you tell, which is basically true because people are more interested in the story behind the brand. And that's what emotionally connects it to the brand. So whenever you're creating any kind of campaign or you're creating a message, always remember that that story that has your brand and who you are and everything really helps you connect with your audience and helps people understand where you come from. So, okay, now we're going to go into the good stuff because, like I said, digital marketing is a really broad term, and it divides itself in so many tactics that you can use, and you can start using it today to improve your marketing efforts. So we're going to kind of break them down bit by bit so that you can kind of understand all of them. And like Meredith said, at the end, we can answer any questions you have. So the first one that we have going is SEO, or search engine optimization. So SEO, like we said, stands for search engine optimization, and it's a marketing practice that helps websites rank organically on the first pages of Google or other search engines like Bing or anything like that. And by that, we simply mean that whenever you just go into Google and you write something that you're looking for, that is a keyword. And based on that keyword, Google or other search engines kind of organize or prioritize the different content online based on kind of the healthiness and the quality of your website. So SEO, basically what it does is that it helps you clean it up and optimize everything so that you can slowly rank higher in the list and you can gain more visibility from that, because as we know, most people actually look at the first 2 or 3 pages on Google. So the closer you are, the better, and it's a huge improvement. And how does it work? Like I mentioned, it builds an index and then it helps you kind of rank. So the idea that what you should kind of work towards is finding all those keywords that are relevant to your audience and using those keywords within the content that you have on your website. So whether it's a blog, whether it's your homepage, whether it's an About Us page, anything, you want to make sure that you're putting in those really good keywords that are going to help you rank a bit higher. So based on that, we have 3 tips and tricks, and we also have a couple of links there. So after we finish this presentation, Meredith and Luis will share this with you, and you'll be able to go into the links and use all the resources that we added here. So the first one that we have is keyword research. So like I said, the keywords are like the basic. So you have to find which ones will help you perform the best. And that's why we have tools like Ubersuggest. That's the one that we have right there. And basically, it's just like another search. You add the important topic that you want, or maybe let's say I'm looking for the keyword for digital marketing. So I add it in there and it lets me know kind of the amount of traffic that it gets throughout the month, what level of difficulty it has. So for example, like if a lot of people use it, then it's really hard to rank, so the difficulty is higher. And basically what you want to do is kind of find that balance between it not being a really high difficulty, but having a good level of traffic, because that's going to slowly help you grow. The next tip and trick is also on-site and off-site SEO, which basically means the links that you have. So on-site, it means all the links that you have within your website that drive you to your own website. So all the different places people can click and it drive to a link. And then when we talk about off-site, we mean all those links that live in a third-party website. So it's a different website that uses your link to drive traffic to you. And both of those are actually pretty beneficial, and they help your domain authority, which is the one that's going to help you rank a bit higher, because it just shows that your website is healthy, that it has not that much spam score, that it has really good keywords, and it has really good backlinks. So that's the second one. And then just optimizing for your website, and this is what I'm talking about when I say domain authority. So you have first different plugins like Yoast, where you can actually write what keyword you want to use, what title, using the keyword you want to use, etc. And then you can also use Moz, for example, just to give you a page audit, and you can see just like if you have spam or if there are any broken links or anything like that, and it can help you clean up your website. So yeah, that's the first one. And we can move on to, this is a quick example. So as you see, you have on the Google, where it says the Google and everything, it has the title and the metadata. So that's where you're going to want to add your keywords on Google, and you're going to want to add it to your title and also to your metadata description. And below you can find the ideal length, because if you go over that, then it gets those 3 little dots and people don't get to read the entire extent of it. So this is kind of the ideal length to have people be able to read everything that you're writing, and you just have to make sure that you include your keywords in there. Rose, I'm not sure if you want to add anything or if we can move on, but feel free to add anything as we go.
Yeah, I'll just add that on the left, as you can see, there's some different types of search results that are coming up. So you can see the first thing, there's this sponsored ad that comes up, and then below are those organic results that Andreina was talking about with the title tag and the meta description. So yeah, there's a lot of different types of search results. So there's, paid advertising, these organic ones. But there's also, images and videos, things like that. So really all of those different types of things you can optimize for the proper keyword. So, if you're posting a video, that's something that you can optimize for your keyword to have it show up here. So it's not really just individual web pages or blogs that need to be optimized. It's everything like images that you can optimize to appear on the first page of search results.
Excellent, thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. And now we go to another tactic that is really useful, and it's email marketing. It's the act of sending a commercial message, typically to a group of people that you have on an email list. And it's a great way to actually reach potential or current customers, or even actually like give them really good information about you and have them connect. So how does it work? Email lets you reach a wide range of different audiences, including those that are not necessarily comfortable using the internet. And this makes it one of the most mainstream kind of marketing, digital marketing out there. And it also creates this opportunity to establish long-lasting relationships because you're constantly updating the people that subscribe to your email list. And you're able to just let them know what's going on with your organization, give them any kind of news about your products, like anything. And it's a really great way to connect. And of course, if they respond, you get to have that little interaction of talking to the person. So a couple of tips and tricks that we have for this are just creating a newsletter, which is just touching base with your customers, give them updates about the company, products or services, telling them a little bit about your story, maybe sharing a video, any kind of interesting resource that you think is going to be useful for them. And you can choose, like, depending on your business and like what you want to do, just the frequency, because you can do it once a month, or you can do it twice a month, or even weekly if that's what you choose. And it's basically a really good way to connect. The important thing about this is that in order for you to send it, people have to accept giving their email to you. So it has to be like they grant you permission in order to do it. So most people suggest kind of having a newsletter sign up at the bottom of their website, or adding a little pop-up and letting them know, if you want to know more about us, sign up to our newsletter, and people can sign up. And that way you have them in your mailing list and you have their permission to receive all the information that you want to send them. Then we also have lead capture strategies, which is just attract interested prospects to convert into leads. It can help you grow your subscriber list, and you can have you can ask website visitors to submit, or just in exchange for something valuable that you can give to them, like for example, a discount code or a promo code. You can even give them like a PDF or a report. One thing that we have that is kind of a lead capture incentive is that we have this SEO report. So basically you can go into our website and take a little quiz, and you can give us your email and we'll get back to you with the results of how is your SEO going, like what you need to do, everything like that. So in that way, you get something very unique and special because you're getting this SEO report that lets you know what's going on with you. And we get your email back in exchange, and we get to send you nice, juicy information about what's going on with our company. And then last but not least, we also have different kind of automations, which you can do with different platforms. For example, MailChimp does a lot of automations, and that just simply means that you have automated emails that the minute that someone subscribes to that automation, they can automatically receive like 1 email per week or something like that. And you just create them once. Like you prepare your automation, you write the content, and that person is going to be receiving them weekly no matter what, unless they decide to unsubscribe. but that's another way to actually do it. And you can do courses with that. You can do any kind of thing, like maybe if you have like the podcast and people want to subscribe to it, they can get like the weekly information for the podcast. I mean, there are like endless opportunities, like abandoned cart emails, like so many things that you can do with automations, and they are really, really helpful. Let's go to the next slide. Thank you. So here are just a couple of examples. So the first one that you see here at the left side is just a regular email for the newsletter that has just like a really nice graphic, because the visual part is kind of really important. And then just making sure that you have your call to actions, inviting people to maybe go to your website or anything like that. And you can create your little buttons. And then at the top here where it says become a Colibri is what I was mentioning about the newsletter. So you just add your first name and your email and you join, and they're automatically signed up. And then what we have below is what I was mentioning about the SEO report card. So it's kind of like a lead capture incentive. And the last one is another example of email. Rose, do you want to add anything before we move on to social media?
Yeah, I would just add that those automations that Andreina was talking about are a really great place to kind of get creative and, try to really find something that will be useful for your audience. So we have another automation lead capture on our website that's called Shine Online. And it's basically an email course, sort of like this presentation covering the basics of digital marketing. And it's, I think like a 16-part email course. So that's, an automation and a lead capture where we can, get people's emails, they sign up for this course. And we're also providing them really helpful content over, the next 10, 16 weeks.
Precisely. Thank you. Okay, so now on to social media marketing. So before we hop into it, I just want to really let you know that when we talk about social media marketing, we talk about everything related to organic. We're not talking about social media ads. So we're not talking about Facebook ads or Instagram ads, nothing like that. We're just talking about the organic aspect of it. So it's just this regular social media platforms, so Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and it's a great way for you to connect with your audience and to promote your products and also generate leads, because through engaging and through talking and through conversations that you can have through social media, you can actually generate leads or gain that kind of a relationship, because social media, it's all about building a community and feeling that essence of just being able to have that connection with the people that are interested in your product. So how does it work? Social media marketing involves promoting your content and engaging with your target customers in social media channels like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Social media does not only work as an tactic on its own, but it supports other digital marketing efforts. And by this, we mean that, for example, if you create a blog post, you can promote your blog post on social media, so it helps you with that. Or if you want to invite people to your newsletter, you can create posts about that as well. So in some way, you can promote all your other social media marketing tactics, all your digital marketing tactics through social media. So just quick tips and tricks about this. Custom messages. So creating personalized messaging for each platform and for your audience is pretty important. So you kind of want to understand what audience you have in each. And if it's similar, or maybe if you have maybe a younger demographic in Instagram, maybe an older demographic on Facebook, which tends to happen. Sorry about that. And then you just want to really kind of understand your audience, and then just create those really good personalized messages that are going to resonate with them directly. And then we also have the hashtags, which hashtags are kind of like the keyword of social media. So it's its own kind of SEO sort of thing, basically, because when you're interested in a topic, let's say you're looking for digital marketing in social media, you add the hashtag and you see all the different posts that have information related to that. So by adding your hashtags to your own posts, you can be visible in those different hashtags that people are interested in. So you're literally just targeting the people that are interested in what you have to offer. So that's why hashtags are super important, especially for Instagram. And that's why they allow up to 35 hashtags. Whereas Twitter and LinkedIn, they allow a little bit less. You can basically just use them on your on your caption. Up next, we have engagement, which is the core of everything. That's interacting with your audience and just letting them know your brand. So when we talk about engagement, we talk about shares, we talk about saves, we talk about likes and comments people have on your posts. So more than actually getting followers, the most important thing is that those followers that you do have are very engaged with what you have to share with them, because that's what you want. You want those people that are there for you to really feel committed to your brand and to what you want to say, and they feel that sense of loyalty. So basically, engagement over followers anytime. And yeah, just making sure that you interact with them, that you answer on time, and generating that relationship, because that's what's going to help you maybe build leads in the future. And then, of course, the biggest of all is using video, or trying to use video, maybe not every day, but doing your best, because it's really easy to digest, it's entertaining, and it tends to be a little bit more engaging. So it can also help you be really straight to the point and focus on your viewers' interests. And if we go just right here, this is just one quick thing that I wanted to note that is not in the tips and tricks, but that it's important, is the brand consistency. So if you see, for example, this one to the left is our Instagram, and then to the other side, we have our YouTube and our Twitter. And as you see, they're pretty similar. Like the logo is the same, the style is the same, our colors are the same. And that's what you want, because maybe I don't know your brand and I'm looking at you on Instagram, but I want to follow you on Facebook as well. Once I follow you and I see that this is the same, I know that it's you. So it's easy for your customers or for the prospects or leads to recognize you and be like, okay, this is you and this is who I want to follow. So that brand consistency helps you be more recognizable, and it also helps you be kind of aligned with your brand and with everything. Rose, any comments?
Yeah. In terms of engagement, one thing that's really important is a lot of times you actually have to ask people to engage. So, if you want people to be commenting on your posts, you can ask them a question in your caption saying, what do you think of this, or something like that. And that's kind of true across all platforms. For your call to action, if you are really wanting people to do something, you have to really prompt them to do it. So for social media, you have to ask them a question that will get them to comment. Or if you want people to save your post on Instagram, you can let them know, hey, save this post so you can look at it later. So yeah, it's really important to reach out and ask them to do what it is that you want them to do to kind of get the engagement that you're looking for.
Yeah, absolutely. Call to actions are really important. Even if it's just to drive someone to click here to view this video, it's just like giving them that action kind of orients them towards what they have to do. So let's go up next to the next slide. Perfect. And now we're getting into digital advertising, which was what I was mentioning before about Facebook and Instagram ads and all of that. So what is digital advertising? It's a targeted, data-driven advertising strategy for reaching consumers in every stage of the buying funnel and moving them from one stage of the buying funnel to the next, from awareness to purchase. And you can use it to drive revenue. So when we're talking about it being data-driven, is that usually there's a lot of data that gets picked up from Facebook and from Google of people's interests of everything. So basically, when you're creating an ad, you can really hone in to what they want, like what you have your brand persona. Let's say you know who your audience is and who you want to target. So you know that your target has these specific interests and they are this type of person and they have this age and they have this everything. So basically, it really helps you hone into that. And so when you're creating an ad, you're reaching those people exactly, like precisely the people that you want to get, you're able to get. And then there are so many different variations for that. And then when we're talking about moving from one stage of the buying funnel, is that you can go from brand awareness of just, hey, get to know our website, to slowly moving them through to the process of, hey, I love this product, I want to purchase it. So we know that the person in the initial first moment of awareness does not always convert. So it's important to kind of try to help them go through that stage. So maybe they don't convert the first time they see you in an ad, but maybe once they see you a little bit more, they'll kind of organically go to that. So that's kind of the process that digital advertising wants to go through. So how does it work? Compared to traditional advertising, online digital advertising works in a different way. When you use digital advertising, you only pay when a user completes a desired action on your ad. This action can range from clicking on your ad to viewing your ad. You can also use advanced targeting methods to reach your target audience, like keywords, interests, demographics, and location. And we also have a little resource here so you can learn more. So you can check that out after we finish this presentation. And then for tips and tricks, like our top suggestions, of course, is Facebook ads and Google ads. So Facebook ads is considered one of the top advertising channels online. Understanding how to leverage Facebook ads is becoming a staple part of almost every social media strategy. And Facebook has really great targeting capabilities in digital advertising. So it's perfect, and you can actually start with a small budget. I think they can accept even from $10. So it's really a really great way. And you can choose whether you want to divide the expense by day, or if you want to do just like a lifetime budget. So let's say you're promoting for a month, you can say, okay, this is the end date and I want to use this through the entire month, and they find a way to optimize that. And then we have this also another resource of how to create your own Facebook ads. So you could definitely check that out later. And then we have the Google Ads, which is the best digital advertising platform when it comes to conversions. Google Ads lets you advertise directly in the search engine where people are already looking. So it's a bit more expensive and it's an advanced platform, but it really helps you boost sales. So basically there are different types of Google Ads, but the most traditional ones are the search ads. That's when you see them at the top. That was what Rose was mentioning before when we saw that initial one that she talked about an ad being at the top. So usually you can target kind of specific people that are searching for your specific keyword or for keywords related to you, and even by location as well. Or even sometimes you can even do it if maybe some of your prospects are actually looking at your competitor. There's a way that you can see that if they see your competitor, they can also see you. So it's a bit more, like it says, a bit more expensive, but it's also really good. But then again, SEO on its own organically also has a great advantage because it's a little bit slow, but once you get there, you get to really gain a lot of visibility. So if you move to the next slide, we can see just quick examples. So this one to the left and the one at the top right are Instagram and Facebook ads. And below, you can see the example that I'm mentioning that it says ad, and that's from Google. So it lets you know when it's an ad, but it comes directly at the top. Rose, anything else?
Yeah, I would just add that when you're considering, okay, do I want to be going for Google advertising or Facebook, that on Facebook and social media platforms, you're targeting an audience. So you're targeting people who are, interested in whatever it is. So if you're advertising your digital marketing agency, okay, you're targeting, business owners or something like that who have an online presence. Whereas if you're doing Google advertising, you're targeting a specific keyword, so a certain type of search. So yeah, you can think that, for Facebook, something like that, it's really more about the audience and building more brand awareness. Whereas on Google, you can get a little more specific with, the keywords, the exact type of search that you're targeting.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, and let's go just to, I think this is our last marketing tactic, but it's the center where everything connects. So what do I mean by analytics? So digital marketing analytics is the translation of all the customer behavior, like from every other tactic that you're doing, into actionable business data. Today's marketers can use digital analytics tools to examine the many online channels their buyers might interact with and identify new revenue opportunities for existing campaigns. So basically, when you have your analytics, for example, maybe your Google Analytics, you have everything in one place. So basically you can see what's going on with your website, how much traffic I'm getting into my website. Or maybe you can see the performance from social ads because you can add that information there too. Or maybe you want to see the results of your email. You can add everything just in one place, and it's going to tell you how many people are viewing this, what are maybe the most popular links on your website, like what are people viewing most, who are the people that are searching for you. Like it really hones in and gives you all that good data of who you're talking to, how it's going, and based on that, you can make decisions as to how you can improve, or maybe you can do an A/B test and see like maybe this email is performing better than this one. So we can start moving forward to using this original one instead of the other one because it was more effective. So you can do a lot of testing with analytics. And how does it work? Analytics gives you access to truckloads of data about your customers and your brand's online presence. By making sense of this data, you can make more informed decisions and improve your marketing efforts. This, in turn, can help you optimize your return for your digital marketing. So our huge tips and tricks, which are going to be life-changing, like it's going to be amazing, are Google Analytics, which is the best platform for tracking interactions on your website. It's very important to create a Google Analytics account and integrate it with your website to capture what your visitors are doing. So most read pages, purchases, behavior flows, anything like that. And the good thing about Google Analytics is that you can also add in. So maybe you have it for your website, but you also want to add maybe your MailChimp. So you can integrate MailChimp, you can integrate your social media ads and see what's going on directly in Google Analytics. So there's like you can have everything in just one place. And we have this resource that lets you know how to install it. And if you want to learn more about Google Analytics, they have amazing courses that are just really up to date. They always update them and they let you know exactly how to do everything. So you could learn how to set up goals, how to view your audience, how to do anything. So once you install it, and if you're really interested in learning more about it, you can definitely check out the trainings that you can do from home and you can learn a little bit more about it. And then we also have the Google Data Studio dashboard, which is a reporting solution from Google. So if you want to go beyond the data and the dashboard of Google Analytics, this Data Studio allows you to create like a reporting system where you can just easily go into that link whenever you want, and you can click, let's say I want to see what's going on, what went on last month. So I can put the date of last month and I'm going to get all the data that I want, because maybe there's some data that you want to pay more attention to. So this Data Studio just allows you to consolidate everything in one place, and you can just go in there and just see everything that's most important to you. And we also left you a tutorial there in case you want to learn how to set up your own. If you see here, there are two images. The one on the left is an example of what a little bit of Google Analytics looks like. As you see, it lets you know like the organic search, the direct search, referral, social, display, like you can know where all the people that are going to your website are coming from. So it's pretty specific. So if someone got to you by email, you're going to be able to know that they came to you via email. Or if they came through organic search, you can see that all in that pie. And then you can also see the amount of conversions. You can see how many people came into your website from all those different places. And then here to the right side, we have the report. So as you see, it's like a super easy report that you can easily build, and it's just going to give you all the information you need really simply. Rose, anything else?
Yeah. I would just add that, kind of repeating what Andreina said, that this is really important, having your analytics set up so you can see if what you're doing is actually paying off. So, if you're spending tons of time trying to optimize your website for SEO, you can say, okay, let's see if I'm actually getting more traffic from organic search, and, are my efforts paying off? So it's really great to kind of see, yep, what I'm doing is working, or no, it's not working. And another thing Andreina was talking about earlier, for example, with social media, kind of supporting the rest of your marketing efforts. one thing you can kind of think about is in analytics, you can see what the top performing pages are on your website. So you might see, oh, we have this blog post and it's the 5th most popular page on our website. So this is a topic people are interested in. So I'm going to post on social media a post about this blog post and send people to it. So yeah, looking at your analytics can really inspire what you're doing in all of your different channels across all of your marketing efforts.
Perfect. Thank you. So if we go to the next slide, okay, we've got a list of next steps. Meredith, let me know if we have time to check it before the Q&A. If not, you can review it on your own time, but it's just basic next steps that you can take right after you hop off this call with us and you say, okay, what can I do next to actually just improve my efforts? So let me know if we have time.
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk through those. I'm excited about them.
Yeah, awesome. Perfect. So these are just pretty quick, but I can go over them and explain a little bit. So the first step, be identify your audience and the tools you might need to reach them. See which tactics might perform best depending on your audience. So the first thing is just to understand who you want to get to, like who do you want your message to get to? And based on that, you can see which tools are actually effective. So let's say maybe you want to reach Generation C, which are like our youngsters nowadays. You probably don't want to do it through Facebook. You probably want to do it through TikTok and Instagram, or maybe email if they're interested in email or anything like that. You really want to see, or maybe if you want more related to 50 plus, you do want to focus on Facebook, you want to focus on LinkedIn if they're like really interested in their kind of professional objectives, or even just having that kind of connection to understanding what tactic is best for each. You can also have email with 50 plus, it's really effective as well. And it's basically just understanding who I'm talking to and what tactics are the best for those people that I want to talk to. And then, of course, creating your customer persona, which basically means creating kind of that ideal person that you want, and then also that person that you're getting, just so that you know exactly who you're talking to. And when you create a persona, it's basically talking about interests. It's talking about what kind of tactics do they use? Do they use email? Do they use Facebook? Do they use Instagram? What are their goals? What do they want to achieve with your product or with your service? Anything like that. So you create that persona, and based on that persona, you know exactly what message to send and where, because you know exactly the person that you're talking to. It can also be more than one. Sometimes you can have 3 types of people that you're selling to. It depends completely on your business model. And then identify your goals and tools. So basically, identifying your goals is the root of everything in any kind of tactic that you use. Because once you understand your goal, you know exactly where you want to go. So for example, if your goal is to increase your traffic to your website, then you're definitely going to try to find the tactics that work for that. So yeah, I'm going to improve my SEO because I want to improve the amount of traffic that I get. Maybe I'm going to do some posts for social media because that could help me drive traffic. Or maybe I'm also going to use an email or a newsletter to invite people to check out this new product. So it's basically setting up your goal to know what you want, whether it is I want people to convert, or whether it is just gaining brand awareness, because based on that, whatever you're going to do is going to be a little bit different. So up next, know what sets you apart from your competition. That's, of course, key, because that's what's going to make you special, and it's going to differentiate yourself from all the others out there. And that's really something that you want to use and you let people know about. Then evaluate existing digital marketing channels, audit your channels, and analyze what the competition is doing so that you can make yours stand out. So yeah, like if you want to understand where you're at and what you want to do and how you want to improve, of course, you have to take a look at your competitors, know where they're at, know what they're doing wrong, know what they're doing right, and maybe still like an artist if there's something that you like. But understanding what your competitors are doing is key in order for you to see how you can stand out, what you can do different, and how you can reach people more efficiently. Then use blogging to improve your website's SEO. This is key because, and I'm sure Rose can explain it a lot as well, blogging definitely improves because it's adding more content into your website, but then you also want to make sure that you have those keywords and that you're focusing on that, because that keyword and that like really good long content that really helps convert is going to help you rank higher. I don't know if you want to add anything about that specific one, Rose.
Yeah, I would just agree that really blogging is the best way to kind of step up your website and your SEO, because you can target a lot of different keywords. So, on your homepage or your, about page, things like that, you're not going to be targeting more long-term keywords. So, for example, for us, digital marketing company, on our homepage and stuff, we're going to be targeting words like digital marketing firm. Whereas on our blog, we can get a little more specific and target things like how to go live on Instagram, or how to host a webinar, or what is digital marketing. So on your blog, you can really get a little more broad, at the same time more specific, and be targeting things that anyone who might need digital marketing could be searching for. So not only is blogging really great for improving your rankings, but it's also really helpful for building more awareness about your brand and kind of reaching people when they're first getting interested in digital marketing or in your offer.
Yeah, precisely. Thank you. Also, optimizing for all devices, mobile, desktop, and iPad, of course, making sure that, and that I think that goes for everything. Like if you're creating an email or even if you're creating a post, you do want to optimize everything just so that it looks how it should and that it makes sense and that's good. Then create a content strategy. Make sure all the content you are creating throughout your channel is valuable and useful to your audience. So that's basically what Rose was talking about blogging and how it can be really useful. So when people go into Google, they're just simply they probably have a question. You probably have a question and you want to get an answer to it. So that's where it becomes really valuable and useful, when you give them something that they need. And it's really a great way of getting close to someone who maybe needs your services or maybe needs something that you can help them with. So yeah, making it valuable and useful is really important, because like I said, there's a lot of people just looking for answers to something they don't know, and you're just there to give it to them. And then make it easy for customers to reach you. So yeah, always give them the easy way of giving them your website, or giving them an easy way for them to contact you, or having your contact page, just making sure that whenever you're doing anything, that it's always easy for them to be able to contact you. Then constant monitoring of progress, of course, just checking on your reportings, seeing how things are changing, how things are improving, and also seeing what things you can actually improve. So based on maybe what you did last month, you can see, okay, this can be better by doing this or doing that, or maybe we can promote this specific blog because it has great traffic, or maybe we can create an email about this specific topic. So it's just about making it really easy for them to really get there. And yeah, and for you to get there and kind of understand, yeah, the perfect monitoring, just seeing exactly how to get to that point and slowly improve. Like sometimes it takes time with SEO, it takes time with social media, it takes time, but at the end, it's worth it. And of course, measure your results through analytics, analyze them, and constantly improve.
All right, great. All right. Oh my gosh, Andreina, we have gone over so much. Rose, thank you so much for all of your expertise on this. It's just really powerful and important information, I think. So I'm excited to jump into our Q&A. I mean, it's so funny. I personally have a few questions, but then we also have some questions in the chat. So let's jump into a couple of those. So the first question that we have in the chat, and anybody who's on the line, feel free to type in questions. We've got a few minutes here so we can get as many of these answered as possible. But the first question that we have is about analytics. I know you mentioned that Google Analytics in particular, just kind of registering to get that set up, but could you provide a little more detail about how easy or difficult it is to kind of get started at first with that?
Sure. Rose, could you take this one?
Yeah. So setting up your Google Analytics and everything, it's free basically to do it. If you're doing it on your own, if you need help, then of course you're going to have to hire someone. But the main thing that you're doing is getting a piece of code installed on your website. So some websites it's easier to do than others. But yeah, the idea is that you're getting this one piece of code and putting that into your website. That's the basics. Then you're going to be getting all this information coming in. If you want to be, getting really high tech with it, that's going to take a little bit more time. But I think that's something that, most people will be able to do. It doesn't take a lot of coding knowledge. It's basically copying and pasting a piece of code into the right place. So it's not super complicated, and I'm not a coder or anything like that, but it's something that I'm able to do. And yeah, it depends on where you're hosting your website. If it's easier, so Squarespace, for example, it's super easy to do. They have a section on the website that just says code injection, and you're just copying and pasting your code right there at the end of the, code injection section. So yeah, it's not something that's super complicated. It's really just getting that one piece of code in the right place.
Great. And I think that's true across the board. On WordPress, it's pretty simple, the copy paste, Wix. I think you're right. It's easy to work either with Google Analytics or with the hosting company. There's instructions and everything like that for getting that embedded in the right place.
Yeah, it just gets more complicated if you're trying to, build things out a little bit more. So if you want to be, integrating other things, that's where it's going to get more complicated, or setting up filters, that's where it's a little more difficult and you might need more help.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Which actually, Rose, that's such a great lead into my next question. We've had a couple folks in the chat ask about getting some assistance. So paying for a company to help with the digital marketing or kind of take over some of that. So when you're saying as things kind of get more complicated, it might make sense to work with a consultant or work with a business kind of like Colibri that does this for small businesses. So we had a couple questions about that. The first is just kind of what types of companies are available, which is interesting because that's what you all do. And then we had another question around cost and kind of like how much a business might expect to spend on something like that. And I know it might be kind of difficult to answer that cost question without knowing some of the specifics of the business. But if Rose or Andreina, either of you can kind of give a sense of at what point in terms of like size or revenue or activities would a business probably be a good fit for starting to pay somebody for help with this?
I think it really depends on what you need and what you have the bandwidth to do on your own. So, for blogging, for example, if you really want to be working on your SEO, you might say, okay, we want to do kind of a one-time thing where someone is just going to go through, they're going to audit our website, and they're going to set up the foundations. Or you might say, okay, from there, we want to hire someone to do all of our blogging for us because that's something we don't have the time to do. And that can be, expensive depending on how many blogs you want to be posting, things like that. So that's where you want to consider, is this something that we can do on our own in-house? Or do we not have time to do that at all? Is that something we need to hire someone else to do? So I think it's really important to look at what you're capable of and what your goals are. So what exactly it is that you're going to need. But Andreina, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Also, just answering another of the questions, like the different services, it completely depends on the brand and on the business because there are so many types of digital marketing businesses out there, and some of them are focused mainly on blogging, and some of them are focused mainly on websites and development. I mean, and like, for example, us, we try to be full service. So it completely depends. You can find full service organizations, and then you can also find others that are actually like really specialized in one specific thing. And yeah, like Rose said, like it depends on what you need, because maybe you just need an audit so that people can let you know what is going on and give you recommendations, and you can do it on your own. Or maybe you need help with the rest of it, or like the entire process, or maybe you need help with monitoring, or like there are so many things. Or maybe you, like for example, we offer trainings, so maybe you just want someone to train your team to know how to do it themselves. So yeah, it completely depends on your business and on your goals and what you want to achieve.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's such a good point. Really kind of honing in on those goals is critical. But Rose, I love what you said also about it's kind of this trade-off between the time, if the business owner is going to do this on their own, then they're going to spend a lot of time. And if they don't have a lot of time, then they need to potentially be ready to spend a little bit of money. And it's one or the other, right? you gotta kind of pick.
Yep, definitely. You have to kind of figure out what your priorities are and also how much time you want to put into it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Okay, we have a few more questions and a couple more minutes here. Just a reminder for everybody, because we're getting a couple questions in the chat. We are recording this conversation, and we're going to send out a link to the recording shortly. So if you missed the beginning, or you want to go back and look at all of that super valuable information, or look at the examples again, no worries. You'll be able to do that shortly. All right, we have a couple more questions. About, let's see. So this one is interesting from Holly. She's wondering about social media hashtags. Is there maybe a resource or like a way to research what hashtags would be most relevant? Is there like a database? Can you do that? I think you might be able to do that right in Instagram, right?
Yeah, there are different ways that you can do hashtag research. So there are different tools online that allow you to do research. So you can just add, let's say, digital marketing, and it's going to give you a bunch of options on the different hashtags related to that. And you can see like the volume, everything like that. And then you can also check it on Instagram just to see the volume, see everything. And basically what you want to do is try to have a mix. You want to have some big hashtags, but you also want to have medium-sized and small-sized hashtags that maybe do not get that much volume, because maybe in the big hashtags it's a little bit harder to rank to the top. So you can just try to have a little bit of a mix there. And then also mix between branded hashtags that are specific to your brand, and then others that are business specific, maybe audience specific. Like for example, if you, I don't know, you have a food business, then you're gonna wanna add like foodie, so like people that are interested in food and things like that. And then also like really niche hashtags that are related to your audience. So you really wanna have that mix. And then I know that we do have this paid option. Rose, do you remember the name of that service, the one that I think it's Flickr, but I'm not, or Flickr. I don't completely remember, but let me just quickly look it up.
Yeah, I think it's called Flick. I was going to ask you the same exact question, because I was like, we've just been using this really great tool, but I can't remember the name. But it's something like that.
Let me write it down on the chat. That one's paid, but it really hones in. Like it gives you all the details to which hashtags you're ranking for, which ones you can rank for, depending on the size of your business, depending on a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, so, and one thing I would recommend for that is if you're, doing a little bit of hashtag research, is going into Instagram and typing that hashtag in. And on Instagram, it will kind of show you like the 6 or 9 or something most popular posts under that hashtag. And I would just see if any of those have happened recently. If there hasn't been a popular post for that hashtag in the last year, then you can say kind of, okay, this hashtag is sort of dead. I don't think I'm going to be getting a, feature with this hashtag. So you can look for other ones that have had a popular post in the last year.
Oh, that's super smart. All right, so we had another question that's kind of related when it comes to the research. So that we were just talking about with hashtags for social media, but then how can business owners research the keywords for SEO that their customers or their customer persona, like you were talking about, Andreina, might be searching for online, so they make sure to optimize for those specific keywords?
Yeah, so there I left a link. When you go to the SEO area, there's one suggested tool that's free that's called Ubersuggest. And basically all you have to do is pop in the keyword, and it's going to let you know like all the information about it, and it's going to give you similar keywords. So based on that, you can just research, like you're going to think, let's say, okay, digital marketing. So I choose all the topics, all the different types of themes related to digital marketing or to what my audience is interested in. So for example, we're a B Corp, so we also focus on B Corp, and maybe we focus on women leadership, stuff like that. And basically, you're just going to create like a little spreadsheet that's going to help you kind of decide which ones are the best. And then we also have other paid tools like Moz, and we use SEMrush, but Ubersuggest is free for anyone who wants to use it.
Yeah, and I would add to that, you can kind of, come up with like a list of the main things that your business does, or the main kind of topics that you cover. And then from there, you can kind of type that general keyword into the tool, and it will give you suggested keywords. So that's where you can kind of find more specific keywords. And when you're looking for the best keywords to use, you can kind of consider, okay, we want a keyword that has, high volume per month. And then also a keyword that's, the difficulty isn't too high. So they rank the difficulty from 0 to 100, 0 meaning it's super easy to rank for, 100 really hard to rank for. So I would kind of be looking for something that's, below 70 or so, around there. But you are sometimes going to have to use those keywords that are really hard to rank for, because those are the keywords that have more volume, and those are the keywords like digital marketing or digital marketing firm that you do want to be ranking for, but they're a little more difficult.
Got it.
Yeah, and just one quick thing also for blogging, it's kind of the same. Let's say, for example, you do like a little editorial calendar with the different topics that you want to talk about in your blog, and then you do a little bit of keyword research for those specific topics so that you can use that keyword within your blog post.
Oh, that's a great idea. So like if you were gonna write a blog about your cupcake business and talk about like the best cupcake icing or something, and then you research the keywords and realize, I'm totally making this up, I don't even know what I'm saying, but like instead of icing, that for whatever reason frosting has a better keyword ranking, then you would just switch it, but it's essentially the same thing, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
Cool.
Yeah, so just an example of that is we have a client, and they have elder care communities. And so, they do assisted living and stuff, and they don't want to use the word seniors or stuff like that. They prefer to use like older adults, and they don't want to use facility. They want to use community. So sometimes you might have to say, okay, sadly, people are searching for a facility, not community. So we're going to have to use facility sometimes in terms of SEO.
Got it. That's a great example.
Yeah, it sometimes is kind of a business decision, like choosing between branding and messaging and keyword. But I mean, you can make up the choice depending on what you think is most important for your brand.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Great. Well, I wanted to make sure to show this last slide because it has the contact information for Colibri so that everybody can get in touch if that's of interest, because I know I have learned so much today, and I imagine that everybody else is interested in learning even more from your expertise. So thank you so much, Andreina and Rose, for sharing with us. And thank you to everybody who joined. Thanks for taking the time to kind of invest in your business and improving your digital marketing today. Really appreciate everybody's time. Thank you again, Andreina and Rose. And we look forward to continuing to help everybody improve their businesses in the future. We'll be back with more webinars soon. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day.
Bye.
Thank you.